Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the TRBusiness Adapt and Survive Skype video series. Today we are joined by ASUTIL Secretary General Jose Luis Donagaray. Jose, it's great to see you.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Good to speak with you.
Yeah, and I just wanted to thank you for that. Thank you for putting on such an impressive and excellent webinar just now. The positive vibes there was clear for everybody to see, and it's important at this time.
Yes, it was really impressive. I know Roberto Canessa since a lot of years, but every time I speak with him, it's, incredible, amazing.
Okay, so just to start things off, I just wanted to ask how have you and your family been affected by the crisis, and can you just give us a little insight into how you've been coping on a personal level?
Well, I had my son positive with coronavirus on the 13th of March. So we have been living with a person that was positive for coronavirus. It's a little bit difficult, but it's possible. He was like in prison. He was in his room. I knocked the door. I left the food on the floor. He opened the door, get the food out. Afterwards, send a message, ready. I get afterwards the rubbish. So it was 1 month, but it was good. Now he is okay. He has been negative, but everything is going okay.
The main thing is he's well. That's the most important thing.
Yes, he's okay. He has 28 years, and he's okay. He passed his birthday. He's now 29 in quarantine in his room, but it was tough, but it is possible. It is possible.
Okay, and can you give us an insight into how the situation is in Uruguay at the moment?
Well, in Uruguay, the situation, the first case was on the 13th of March. It not was my son, it was another one. But here, I would think we are only having 14 people dead, mostly people over 80 years dead. Only 10 in a special, in UC, or I don't know how you say, the special care unit, okay? And we have been for the last 5 days, more people recovered than new cases. Okay, we had a little issue on Sunday in a special area where a lot of old people live, but things have been quite well managed here for the moment with a volunteer quarantine. We don't have schools, we don't have shopping centers, we don't have sports, we don't have music concerts, but people are starting to move slowly, okay? Some figures that I can show you. The airport is closed, the borders are closed, and the sales of gasoline has dropped down by 60% in Montevideo. So that's to share with you what's happened.
So slow recovery, but long way.
Yeah.
And what's your reaction to the announcement this morning that air traffic in Argentina is going to be suspended until the 1st of September? Are you going to be, involved in addressing this matter in partnership with the likes of like ACI Latin America and IATA? I wanted to know your feelings on this because they've expressed concerns about it.
Andrew, first of all, we need to understand that from one side we have the government and the regulator that says when things can happen, and the other one is the people. You expect people to have the idea of being traveling before September? I am asking you this question. If you have an offer of a good ticket, you will fly on August to Spain or to Italy, or you will stay at home or in your country. So the regulators try to understand the needs, the expectation of people of traveling, and the safe issue. So this is a mix of health and economic and customers, because you can put September and you don't have customers. Who's gonna get inside a plane if it's not for a special flight of coming back people to the country? Nobody. For the moment, nobody, because you're having coronavirus all over the world. So September is a date that puts an entity that's the regulator, but there will be customers in September, yes or no? That's the other thing,
So were you surprised at this? Were you surprised by this at all?
No,
you were.
No. If you see, I have a study of McKinsey done by McKinsey worldwide. They expect that the recovery of air and travel will start on the first and second quadrimester of 2021. A study developed by Deloitte says that in Spain, the international tourism will start on January 2021. So,
but there's the various, what we've read this morning, though, the various associations, they've actually expressed that they've actually expressed concern at this. So you would say that you would say that it's the right decision. September the 1st is a realistic time.
I think for Latin America, it's a realistic time. Maybe you have some flights before. Yes, but it's a realistic time. Look, how many planes you will have, how many connectivity you will have. I think that to have a mass of customers, September is a good date in Latin America. Yes, it's the beginning. It's the beginning also of spring. So when you're gonna have good weather. So it sounds good.
And obviously, we all know that the pandemic is it's crippling business in the airports. But it's also, how big an impact is it having on the borders? I mean, it's really obviously having as big an impact on the borders, isn't it, as it is as in the airports in terms of crippling the business?
Yes, you have an impact on the borders for two reasons. The borders are closed. Although we have with Brazil a dry border because it's a street, but one of the reasons that some commercial centers are closed is to avoid a lot of people all at the same time in one place. So, and people are not moving. So, again, we go. The regulator says you can open. Maybe you can open, but you don't have customers because customers don't want to share a specific area, okay, with another people. People want to have 2 square meters about. So you need to get at the same time what the need of the customers, the need of the economy, and the health need. When you get a balance there, and it is day by day, you got a balance there. You're gonna move slowly, but day by day forward to the solution.
Okay, and how would you say things have progressed since ASUTIL and ACI Latin America and Caribbean first started urging the governments to issue the financial relief measures for airport stakeholders? How would you assess the progress that's been made?
Good. In some countries faster than others, but good. We had good progress in Brazil. We are having some progress in Uruguay. We are having some meetings next week. And we are good. I would say good. People, but remember, the governments are receiving this situation from all the sectors of the economy, except pharmacy, food, and others. All the sectors of the economy are asking for some type of help. So we are good. We have a good example of good work in Brazil between ACI, ASUTIL, and all the people that work inside the airports. This is what I say: cafe, bar, restaurant, advertising agency, duty paid, duty free, souvenir sales, destination merchandise, all together working together, a good meeting with the government, and we are moving forward. So in each country we are doing with the airport, with the local operator, different movements.
And do you believe the governments recognise the need for the industry to continue doing business during this difficult time? Do you believe they feel that? Do you believe that they recognise it, recognise this, during the discussions that you're having?
Well, look, we are not the first priority. The first priority is health. That's the first priority. The second is the recovery, the slow but sustainable recovery of the economy. And there you have, in first place, the smallest and medium companies, unipersonal companies, entrepreneurs, people that they don't have enough money. And afterwards, you go to the medium company and afterwards to the big company. That's normal, Andrew. That's what you would do and what I would do. First of all, you need to help the poor people, the people that had only one employee, the entrepreneurs that don't have access to finance, okay? Small companies that, you know, the people that do electricity, the people that do plumbing, the people that cut the grass, the people that take out the dog, okay? That's small persons. Well, how they survive? Well, that's the first step. So the government started with those steps in each country. Afterwards, they go to small company that have 3 employees, after to 5, after to 10, and that's the way. So we are preparing everything, because normally duty free you have big companies in the airport also. We are going there's the next step we are approaching.
And also, you've mentioned before about the possibility of like an allowance for online purchases during the pandemic to sustain business. Can you just offer an update on this, and what other ideas and solutions do you have?
Look, there is a lot of countries here in Latin America that have a TIFA agreement with the United States. That is, for example, in Uruguay, every people from Uruguay can buy up to $600 in USA, in 3 times of $200 from USA or from Alibaba without paying taxes. This goes, what you purchase goes to a PO box in the States and comes into Uruguay. So the government there is not receiving any money. The local government, Uruguay, is not receiving any money. So the fiscal loss is done. What we are saying to the government is, look, let the people to use that $600 and to buy online from the duty free. So you're giving, the dollar stays in the country, you're giving employment to local people, and you continue this in a certain way, a small amount of money, but the duty free company is working. Okay? And also we are doing that we are asking that for the borders.
And just wanted to ask you like a general question, because I know about like the other regions as well. How would you assess the impact of like the crisis in Latin America compared to some of the other regions? And how do you think the recovery is progressing and will progress in relation to some of the other regions across the world?
Well, I would not speak about Asia, but look, in Latin America, after Africa, we have the weakest economies. Okay, we have big countries like Brazil, but we have the weakest economies. We have fiscal problems, fiscal deficit. So it's going to be tough here, the recovery. So when you talk about United States has the machine to get to print dollars. So it's very easy. You have the European Union, it's a tough economy. You have China, Japan, they're a tough economy, Australia, New Zealand. So after Africa, Africa as a continent, we are the weakest economy. So it's going to be tough here in Latin America. It's going to be tough.
And how have you been working with the likes of like the Duty Free World Council and ACI like during the crisis to mobilize for that recovery? I mean, we know that you're lobbying the governments for the relief, but how else are you working together? Can you give us a flavor of the dialogue?
Well, for example, we are working with the World Tourism Organization, okay? Because tourism is very important for duty free, and it's I would say one of our, with the airports, our main partners. We are also working with the World Health Organization. We are saying, look, please help us in this moment that the day after we're going to start the recovery, we need to have flexibility in some things. Okay, the meeting that was to be held on November this year for the tobacco issue has been postponed for next year. Well, a lot of things. This is every day, one step. So we need everyone to be involved. This is not the time to construct walls. This is the time to construct bridges, you know?
So based on that, what would be your message to all the industry stakeholders in the Latin American region and beyond even?
Be positive, have a positive attitude. Coronavirus is not the biggest problem. As we heard, it's not the biggest issue. We need to prepare. We need to have ideas for the day after, okay? And be prepared. And try to feel what we can do now. Have solidarity. Be positive. Try to do other things. That's what the idea of what we can do.
And just one final question: how much have you thought about that day after, about the about how things are going to be once the crisis passes. I mean, we've talked about how the concession model is going to change. I just wanted to get your own personal thoughts on how you see things transpiring in the duty-free and travel retail industry once this crisis passes.
Well, maybe at the beginning. It's very difficult to see what is going to happen, okay? But maybe at the beginning, maybe we'll have smallest stores with core products or core mix of products. This is going to be, has to be discussed between the landlords and the stores and the owner of the store. Maybe some mix is going to change. Maybe you have more basic products than luxury products. We have to see. We have to adapt. Look, we had a lot of crises in the past years, in the last 100 years, okay? The last pandemic was what is called the Spanish flu, okay, in the world. This is the first time since airports, big airport and duty-free exist that the world stops. The world has stopped. This is not an economic that has a devaluation in Latin America. Brazil has devaluated, or the States is sending money, or the United States has bankruptcy, or you have the Greek and the Italian with problems of money. No, the world has stopped. Nobody has experienced this in this one. So you need to open your mind and try to understand what is going to be the need and be prepared. Open mind.
And let's hope that we never, ever have to experience anything like this again. Jose Luis, it was great to see you. Thanks for taking
Thank you very much.
To speak to me, and I look forward to seeing you on happy occasions.
Be positive and be solidarity.
Thank
you very much.
Take care.